Part 2 of the JTM45 refurb. I'm going to power it up shortly, but quite a few cold checks we can do before doing so. I've checked we've got continuity between ground chassis and the mains plug. I've checked the primary resistance of the mains transformer. It's about 10 ohms, which is round about what it should be. I've checked that I've got no continuity between live or neutral and chassis. I've checked the resistance between the HT, the B plus lines, make sure there's no leaks or shorts, and I've measured every component, and all the resistors measure within tolerance apart from this screen feed resistor, 1k 3 watt, that's gone up to 1.5k. The two screen grid resistors, they're 470 ohms. These are 2 watt carbon composition. They've gone high, they've gone up to about 520 ohms. You would often see the grey RS 5 watt resistors fitted here. I've managed to free up this pot. It's alright now. I disconnected it, I applied some heat from the heat gun to it, it loosened it off, and then I sprayed some lubricant into it, and it's freed off nicely. So the tubes are out apart from the GZ34, that's in position, and I can switch it on. The amp's switched on, it is in standby, but I've got 0 volts going in. So let's gently apply some voltage. That's about 60 volts going in. There's no current being drawn, so that's good. At that kind of voltage I wouldn't expect the GZ34 to conduct. The mains light is not lit in sufficient voltage to strike the neon. The B plus voltage, the bias voltage is very important. If that's compromised too low, then it will destroy the KT66 valves, and at £500 a pair we don't want to be doing that. And with just 60 volts input I'm getting 1 volt, so that's probably a bit low. But let's gently turn it up. There's 100 volts going in now. At that voltage the neon's just striking, it's flickering. We'll bring it out of standby, no current being drawn, that's good. Will the GZ34 conduct at that voltage? Yes, we've got 65 volts on the B plus line. And the bias voltage is at minus 2.2, still a bit low, isn't it? So 140 volts going in. Neon's fully struck now. B plus $280 volts and climbing as the GZ warms up. I've got minus 3.7 bias voltage. That's bad. Let's go up to something reasonable. Let's go up to 180 volts AC going in. At that we've got 355 volts B plus. but his bias voltage is at minus 5 volts. The KT66s need to see about minus 48, minus 50 volts in the JTM45. So if I was to have those valves in now, it would be in trouble. It'd be trying to the valves would be burning up. So I'll switch it off, and the reason the bias voltage is low is these caps. If you look, they're just starting to show some leakage. So we'll change those. I'll pause it for now. So we we got a fresh set of bias filter caps in, and now with 180 volts AC going in, we've got minus 34 volts bias on both grids of the KT66 tubes, which are not fitted, remember. So I don't want to go too high with this, but if I go in up to 220 volts going in, our B plus is now 436 volts, and our bias voltage is minus 43. So when that's turned up to 240 volts, I'm pretty sure that the bias will be correct. Now, on every amp I've seen of this age, they've had a 470k resistor across the bias feed resistor to get the bias right for the KT66s. So because I don't want to abuse the output tubes, I'm going to drop a 470k in there just to give a bit of extra bias voltage. So we'll do that, and then we'll fit the tubes, and we'll switch it on for the first time and see if it's producing output. That'll be in part 3, but for now, thanks for watching.